everyone, I'm Miss Grace. I'm from Adams Memorial Library. I'm the Youth Services Librarian. And today we have the Inquire Within crafts. And this is the first one that you're going to make. It's a little finger snowman. And so how you are going to make it, you're just going to use your own hands. And then we'll also give you the white paper, then the black paper, and different color papers so you can cut out into these little squares for the scarves. So the first thing that you're going to do is just place your hand on the piece of white paper and draw an outline of it. And then you're going to cut that. Then you can do this in any other order. What I did was I cut the hats on. I cut one hat out myself, and then I used that to trace all the others. And then I did the same thing with the scarves. I cut one out, and then I used it to trace the other ones. So I did is I put the hats on first, and then I placed the scarves. And then I used, you can use whatever you want, black crayons, markers, anything that you want for their eyes and mouths and their little buttons. And then same thing with you can draw on the little carrots. And that is the craft that you're going to do in the Inquire Within. I hope you like it. You can come to the library on Monday the 16th, Monday the 29th. All right, thanks.
Hey friends, it's Miss Karen at Adams Memorial Library, and I'm going to tell you a few more things that are in your kits that you can come and pick up in the children's room. You can either come into the children's room and pick up a kit with the snow activities, or you can always call us and reserve it and pick it up through curbside service. But if you don't feel like going out in the cold, you could always stay in and color. There's a couple of super wide coloring sheets in the kit. And you can also be a scientist. You can be a winter scientist. One of the experiments you could do is to be making a boat out of ice that would actually float. So the instructions will be in the kit. You could take a plastic container, put some water in, and you'll put a twig in it and attach the twig to the sides of the plastic container so it'll stand up in the water. Put it in the freezer, and then when you take it out of the container, the bottom of this boat is going to be solid ice. You can float it in your bathtub. You can float it outside in a puddle or some other water and see how your boat floats. If you want to be a weather scientist, there's 2 different charts in here that you can use to chart the weather for either a week or a month. The Cat in the Hat knows a lot about that, has a chart that you can go through the week and you can say what the temperature is, if there are clouds, how much sun, how much wind, all of that. And you can look at your results. Or if you want to keep track even longer, you can use this Nature Cat chart and you can do this for a whole month. You could do the month of February. You could save it and chart the weather in March. If you want to do a longer month rather, it's up to you. So you can say, was it sunny today? Was it cloudy? Was it raining? And then you can go back and look and you can see what kind of weather we've been having. And if you decide you would like to make your own snowflakes, I'm going to show you 2 ways that you can do that I know of. So in your kit, there's going to be papers with circles or paper with a square. If you're going to do the circle design for the snowflakes, you'll just cut out the circle. And for the square one, if you cut down this line, this part's going to be a square. So for this one, you want a square for your folding. For this one, you'll use a circle. If you do the circle one, you will take the circle, which will be like this, and then you'll fold it in half. So then you'll have a semicircle, a half circle, and you'll fold it in half again, have a quarter circle, and then you will fold it in half one more time, and that'll be into eighths. So you'll have an eighth of a circle. And when you do that, turn it so the point's away from you. And then you want to draw a design on here, starting at the bottom, going up, and then going back down. And this design is going to be what you're going to cut to make your snowflake. So start at one end, and you can just draw up, draw a squiggle, draw whatever you want. Don't go all the way to the top because then you'll cut through your snowflake. So go close to the top, then come back down. And then you take some scissors and cut all along your line. And the more squiggly you make your line, the more intricate and fancy your snowflake will be, but it will also be a little bit harder to cut out. So you can start with just making a few curves and then maybe work up to cutting some more. It's a little bit tricky to cut through all this paper, so you might need somebody else to help. You can work as a team to make the snowflakes. Then when you unfold it, you can have a snowflake that looks something like this. If you used a smaller circle, you'd get smaller snowflakes. But these are a little bit harder to cut, so I started with the bigger one. I would recommend that. Now, these snowflakes I think are very fancy, but they don't have 6 points. This one actually has eight different points. If you want to make a more authentic snowflake, the kind that you would find in nature, if you looked at a snowflake under a magnifying glass, it would have 6 points. To do that, you need the square. So when you cut out your square, you will, hang on. Well, maybe I can show it. You have your square, you will fold that in half to make a triangle. And then you will fold it in half again to make a smaller triangle. And then here's the step that's a little bit tricky. You want to kind of divide the triangle that's left into 3 parts. And this took me a few tries. I think it took me about 4 tries to try to get it right, because you fold one part over about a third of the way, and then you fold the other part over, and you want them to line up at the bottom. And so I had to keep I made my first fold, went a little too far with my first fold, so I had to keep going back and trying it to make this one a little bit smaller, till it all lined up. And then you can crease it down and flatten the paper. When you have it all divided into thirds, then it looks, kind of like maybe the face of a fox. This could be the snout and some ears. So it should look like that. And you will flip it over, so you'll have this flat piece of paper here. And then you're going to take your scissors and cut like that. You're going to cut down from the top, and that's going to make your snowflake. Once you've cut this down from the top, this is going to be how it makes the points on your snowflake. Then you can cut some more. You'll cut a little bit from this side. You can cut at the bottom. You can cut at the top, make some designs. You just don't want to cut it all the way across, because again, then it'll make your snowflake fall apart. And it might take a few tries till you kind of get the hang of it. But when you do that and unfold it, the snowflake will have 6 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So one of my snowflakes looks like this. One of my snowflakes look like this. It's got a lot of points, but it's got 6 main ones. And I don't know that I can do these exact snowflakes again, but that's how it works for snowflakes. Each one's going to be different. So you can just experiment. You can be an experimenting artist too and see what your snow looks like. Once you have it done, you could color it. You could decorate them if you wanted to. You could try to make them shiny, whatever you would like to do. Or you can cut them out of colored paper if you want to do it that way. So friends, we hope you'll have a lot of fun doing the experiments, making the snow crafts, making some snowflakes. And so we want to thank, once again, as always, our friends at WQED Education and at Clearview Federal Credit Union for allowing us to make these kits to give to you. And if you want to show us your designs or show us your snowflakes, you can always bring them into the children's room. You can show Miss Grace and me, or you can always email us at kids@adamslib.org and show us that way. So friends, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next month for some more fun Inquire Within crafts and activities. And until then, happy winter, and we'll see you next time, friends. Thank you. Bye-bye.